Following Post Falls City Council's decision to remove Juneteenth as an official city holiday, some community members are raising their concerns tonight. What they have to say.
We're tracking another round of snow moving through tonight. We'll let you know how much you're going to get.
And police are investigating a possible drive-by shooting in Spokane. Everything we know tonight. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for the Night Report on KREM 2 News. I'm Sydney Schofield. We are tracking a move making headlines tonight out of Post Falls. Last night, the City Council voted to remove Juneteenth as an official city holiday and restore Columbus Day. Juneteenth commemorates the 1865 announcement of the abolition of slavery in Texas, freeing close to 250,000 enslaved people. The announcement came 2 years after President Abraham Lincoln emancipated all enslaved people across the country. Yesterday, those for the change said it was more of an administrative decision rather than a political one, while those opposed to it say it diminished the historical significance of the end of slavery in the United States.
My own view is that Juneteenth is something that nobody had heard of until 5 years ago and was pushed for political purposes. And so I'm not in favor of having that in.
It's that the elimination of slavery, which was common worldwide up until the rise of Western civilization, and unfortunately is still very common today, is something that we should definitely celebrate and hang our hat on, and not something that just because we didn't know about or was more or was made less relevant doesn't make it relevant to today. So I would definitely advocate for some type of arrangement. I don't think these two need to be mutually exclusive.
So as we continue following this story, an organization in northern Idaho is worried about how this decision from the city of Post Falls will impact their group's mission. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy tells us about Idaho for All.
It's an ugly thing to do, I think.
North Idahoan Lauren McCroskey says she was shocked when she heard the news of Post Falls City Council members voting to remove Juneteenth as a city holiday and reinstate Columbus Day on Tuesday night. She, alongside several others, started the anti-hate group Idaho for All a little over 2 years ago. She says it formed to hold vigils and events on national issues and holidays the group feels don't get the right amount of attention across northern Idaho.
The best way to solve some of these problems is to try to create community around common issues.
That includes a Juneteenth pop-up concert and Freedom Walk that's been held in Coeur d'Alene over the past couple of years. But now she says Post Falls has distinguished itself, inspiring her to grow their group's events moving forward.
I think it's going to invigorate us to have an even bigger Juneteenth this year.
She says this decision comes as members of Idaho for All are beginning to plan for their next event commemorating Juneteenth. She adds it's an important day to acknowledge the news of the end of slavery reaching Texas more than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, and she hopes that decision out of Post Falls doesn't hinder folks turning out for their event come June.
There's so much more to the story than we've been told.
Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
All right, let's take a break from the headlines and head to our outdoor weather center. Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo keeping a close eye on that forecast. Are we expecting more snow tonight, Jeremy?
Yes.
Perfect.
Weirdly. So let's talk it. It is not much, but we are going to get another round. I think this one, even though it is a lot less than what we saw last night, taps into how cold we are. We are down in the 20s right now. We have expired those winter weather advisories, and for the most part, snow is wound down unless you get up near Bonner's Ferry. A couple of stray little showers, but a bulk of what we'll see moves through later tonight. Starts around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, just a quick little band of showers. Then we get a more widespread band moving through, and that's right around the time we start moving tomorrow. So right around the morning commute. It's not much, but it moves through quite quickly. And so what I think it does is it just adds a little bit of light snow to those frozen roads. So it shouldn't be a big contender, but with how cold we are, it likely does stick. 36 tomorrow afternoon, so we'll melt it all again. 34 on Friday. By Saturday, we're back up near 40 as we start drying out, but only briefly.
It is time for your Night Beat with a quick look at today's top stories. Police are investigating a possible drive-by shooting tonight in West Central Spokane. Authorities say they got reports of shots fired in the West Maxwell Avenue and North Ash Street area. Police say they found a suspect a short distance away near the 2300 block of West Kiernan in Northeast Spokane. He was detained at the scene. No word yet tonight on whether he was arrested or charged with a crime. The suspect accused of setting a Pullman apartment building on fire in October of 2025 entered a guilty plea last week for first-degree arson and attempting to elude police. Elijah Reagan led officers on a high-speed pursuit that resulted in a SWAT standoff. Negotiators convinced Reagan to surrender. He was then booked into the Whitman County Jail. With his guilty plea, Reagan received the maximum sentence of 34 months. Authorities say 8 skiers have been found dead following an avalanche near California's Lake Tahoe. The Nevada County Sheriff's Office says they were part of a group of 15 skiers and guides who were on a 3-day trip in the Castle Peak area near Lake Tahoe when intense storms moved in Tuesday, dumping several feet of snow. Authorities searching for missing skiers following an avalanche in California made a grim announcement today.
8 of the 9 additional skiers have been located deceased. We are still looking for one of the members at this time.
Search and recovery crews are still trying to locate that 9th skier that remains unaccounted for tonight but is presumed dead. The Nevada County Sheriff's Office says they have yet to bring the bodies of those avalanche victims down due to weather conditions. Of course, the big concern is safety for those recovery teams with those whiteout conditions remaining in the Sierras. That's it for your Night Beat. For more on any of these stories, just head to our website, KREM.com. We turn to news now across the nation. A potential military strike on Iran could happen as soon as Saturday, according to top national security officials. President Trump has positioned U.S. warships and fighter jets in the region as nuclear talks continue with the country. Senior White House correspondent Ed O'Keefe has the latest from the White House.
Sources tell CBS News the president hasn't yet made a final decision on whether to strike. Conversations about potential military action are described as fluid and ongoing as the White House weighs the political and military risks of escalation. The president has said he would consider strikes if Iran doesn't agree to curb its nuclear weapons program. The Pentagon is moving some personnel temporarily out of the Middle East region over the next 3 days. They're headed primarily to Europe or back here to the U.S. ahead of any potential action or counterattacks by Iran. There are usually at least 30,000 to 40,000 U.S. troops in the region. There are at least 11 warships right now, including the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier in the region. A second carrier group led by the USS Gerald Ford, plus 3 other ships is en route. 50 U.S. aircraft flew into the region just today. One potential military target is Iran's ballistic missile sites. The Israelis have been raising concerns about the increased development of Iran's missile program since a late December meeting with President Trump. He told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at that meeting he would support Israeli strikes on Iran's ballistic missiles if a nuclear deal can't be reached.
That was Ed O'Keefe reporting. We will certainly keep you updated. Still ahead tonight, multiple mountain lion sightings have been reported to the Bonners Ferry Police Department. The warning they have for people in the area and how you can stay safe. But first, lawmakers here in Washington are trying to prohibit police from wearing facial coverings. The proposition, though, is raising concerns among police officers. Everything we know about that bill in just 90 seconds.